Listen carefully because what I'm about to share might completely change how you see her. There are three quiet changes women make when another man starts entering the picture. And I can say this as a woman myself. These are shifts most of us would never admit out loud. Not to our boyfriends. Not to our husbands. Not even to our closest friends. Before I pull back the curtain on what really happens behind the scenes, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Because once you understand this truth, you'll never look at her the same way again. Here's what most men don't realize. Women rarely say, "I'm seeing someone else." Instead, they start changing quietly. They tell themselves it's self-improvement, independence, or just a new season. But beneath all that, there's almost always a reason. And that reason usually has a name, a face, and emotional access that changes everything. You'll start noticing small things. She's not as available. She's not as invested. She's not as emotionally present. Her time, attention, and focus start drifting because her energy is being redirected. Then, without warning, she begins dressing differently. She's suddenly putting in more effort, choosing clothes or styles she never cared about before. But here's the truth. She's not doing it for herself. And she's definitely not doing it for you. She's doing it because she wants to be noticed. Even the way she talks to you shifts. She becomes colder, shorter, less patient, while another side of her, the soft and playful version, is being saved for someone else.
One of the clearest signs that another man has entered the picture is this. Her energy moves away from you. You'll feel it before you can explain it. Conversations don't flow like they used to. The little details she once shared are gone. Time together starts feeling heavy, awkward, and forced. Because here's the thing. Energy doesn't lie. When her focus is redirected, you'll sense it, even if she never says a word. She might still be sitting next to you, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, she's somewhere else. It often starts subtly. She seems busier than usual, too tired to talk, distracted when she's with you. Then you notice her phone. Suddenly, it's face down all the time. She brushes off your questions with quick replies or laughs quietly at messages she doesn't share. She's more protective of her schedule, less eager to include you in her plans. The energy that once flowed freely between you is now being rerouted. And no matter how hard you try to ignore it, the distance keeps growing. The tricky part? She'll justify these changes. She'll say she's stressed, tired, or just overwhelmed. And sometimes she'll sprinkle in warmth, just enough to confuse you, to make you second-guess what your instincts are screaming. But beneath those excuses, her energy is being fed by someone new. She doesn't seek your validation, your comfort, or your attention anymore, because she's already getting that elsewhere. And that's why the spark feels like it's fading. It's not about you being less attractive, less valuable, or less worthy. It's about her choosing to emotionally invest outside the relationship. Because once her heart starts drifting, her presence may stay, but her energy won't. The truth is simple. The human heart can't be in two places at once. And when a woman starts giving her best to another man, what's left for you are the scraps. She may still go through the motions, sharing meals, making small talk, doing couple things. But you can feel it. It's empty. The long conversations become short replies. The curiosity about your day fades. And intimacy, the thing that once felt natural, starts to feel like an obligation. Because energy is the real currency of relationships, and when she starts spending it elsewhere, you'll feel emotionally bankrupt. You'll notice it in small but undeniable ways. Less patience, less interest in connecting, less desire to create moments together. But watch what happens when her phone buzzes or when she's getting ready to step out. Suddenly, her energy changes. She lights up. She becomes focused, alert, and alive again, but that effort isn't directed toward you. That's the harsh truth many men don't want to face. They'd rather believe her excuses than trust what their instincts already know. Because here's the reality. Energy doesn't disappear. It only gets redirected. When her presence starts to feel like absence, when her warmth feels like coldness, when her time feels rationed instead of shared, it's because someone else has started fueling her emotionally. And the more energy she invests outside your relationship, the less you'll recognize the woman standing in front of you. Sign number 1. Her appearance transforms. When another man enters the picture, one of the first and clearest shifts you'll see is in her appearance. Because women are intentional about how they present themselves. A sudden change in how she dresses, grooms, or carries herself is rarely random. It's not about fashion trends or some sudden burst of self-care. It's about who she wants to be seen by and who she's trying to impress. When her motivation changes, her reflection does too. At first, it's subtle. She starts buying new clothes out of nowhere. Her style becomes more fitted, more revealing, or simply more expressive. She experiments with colors she's never worn before. Then it becomes more noticeable. She's doing her makeup differently. Her hair gets more attention. She's spending extra time in front of the mirror before stepping out. Suddenly, there's a new perfume, manicured nails, or jewelry that was never part of her usual look. She's not just improving, she's curating. And the question becomes, who is she curating it for? You'll see the contrast clearly in how she shows up. When she's with you, she's casual, sometimes even careless, as if your presence doesn't require effort anymore. But when she's going out with friends, or anywhere you're not invited, her whole energy transforms. She glows. She double-checks her outfit. She reapplies perfume, adjusts her hair, and walks with confidence. Her entire mood lifts because she knows she's about to be seen. And yes, she might brush it off with lines like, "I'm just doing this for myself. I just felt like a change." But here's the truth. Timing and consistency never lie. When these shifts happen alongside emotional distance, they usually point in one direction: outside validation. You'll notice even more signs of that influence. She starts following new fashion trends that never used to interest her. She joins the gym and suddenly focuses on body parts she never cared about before. She might dye her hair, change her wardrobe, or even start speaking differently about beauty and confidence. These aren't random phases. They're reflections of new attention or the desire for it. Because when a woman begins transforming herself quickly and dramatically, it's rarely about self-discovery. It's almost always sparked by someone new, someone whose opinion she values more than yours. And when you bring it up, notice her reaction. If she laughs it off or gives vague answers like, "I just needed something different," it's because admitting the truth would mean confronting what she's already emotionally done. The truth is, personal growth is gradual. But when the change is sudden, focused, and charged with new energy, that's not growth. That's influence. When a woman starts changing, those shifts rarely happen by accident. Sudden changes in her energy, her attitude, or even her appearance usually means something deeper is happening, something she's not saying out loud. Because here's the truth. When another man enters her emotional space, everything about her starts to realign. Not overnight, but fast enough for you to feel the difference. At first, the changes seem harmless. She starts dressing differently, spending more time on her makeup, choosing clothes that highlight her best features, or adding details like perfume and accessories she never cared for before. It looks like self-improvement, but the motivation behind it tells a different story. She may say, "I'm doing this for me," but her timing says otherwise. Real personal growth happens slowly. But when her glow-up feels sudden, targeted, and consistent, it's usually because someone new has sparked that energy. The way she looks in the mirror starts to change too. She's no longer wondering how you see her, she's imagining how another man will. Every outfit, every swipe of lipstick, every adjustment in her posture becomes communication. It's her silent way of being noticed. And if you pay attention, you'll realize she's no longer trying to catch your attention. She's preparing herself to be seen somewhere else. That transformation speaks louder than anything she could ever explain. Then the emotional shift follows. The conversations that once felt easy now feel like work. She used to ask about your day, really listen. Now her responses are short, distracted, or completely absent. You start talking, and she's scrolling on her phone. When another man starts feeding her emotionally, her curiosity about you fades. Her connection with you doesn't die all at once. it slowly starves. You'll also notice her patience shrinking. The little things she once brushed off now become reasons to argue. Suddenly, she's irritated by your voice, your habits, or your presence. She starts comparing you, maybe not consciously, but enough that nothing you do feels right anymore. Here's what's really happening. She's not angry at you. She's emotionally attached elsewhere. When someone new occupies her heart, you'll always feel like you're walking on eggshells. Not because you changed, but because she did. Then comes the coldness, the distance, the emotional wall. Where she once reached for your hand, she now pulls away. Where she once wanted to share her thoughts, she now guards them. Intimacy becomes rare, and when it does happen, it feels like she's doing it out of obligation, not desire. But that warmth she used to give you, it didn't disappear. It just shifted direction. She still has the energy to laugh, to be playful, to be gentle. She's just reserving that version of herself for someone else. That's why it feels like you're living with two different women, the one you used to know, and the one standing in front of you now, distant, critical, and detached. And it shows up in how she communicates, too. She becomes vague, defensive, or irritated when you ask simple questions. You notice her late nights, her phone glued to her hand, her sudden busy schedule, and when you ask about it, she flips it back on you. Why are you being paranoid? Stop being controlling. You're imagining things. Those aren't answers. They're deflections. Guilt often hides behind anger. Instead of calming your doubts, she attacks them. Over time, this emotional drift corrodes everything. Respect fades, admiration turns into criticism, and affection turns into distance. She may still do the basics, cook, talk, share space, but her heart is no longer in it. You feel it in the way she looks at you, in how her tone changes, in how her presence feels heavy instead of warm. Because once her energy moves elsewhere, her loyalty follows. And when that happens, the relationship might still exist on paper, but emotionally, it's already over.